Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the United Way for the Ten Hag press conference. He spoke about Rashford, he spoke about Luke Shaw, and basically he spoke about Martial as well. Martial to return. Well, obviously, we'll put a question mark on the end of that. And basically, he spoke about the upcoming game against Newcastle on Sunday at 4:30, which I'm looking forward to it. International break is done. Manchester United's back. I hate the international break. Yeah, it probably came at the right time. Rest a few players and things like that, but the players are back. Ten Hag is back. Manchester United is back. And what a game to return to. What a game. Newcastle away at St. James's Park. It's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. It's not going to be straightforward. And I'm not expecting it as well. So let's of course hit that subscribe button before we get stuck into the show. I'm trying to actually look for this. I'm literally on the way to Twitter. I mean, it's been a while since you did one of these. It's been a while since we did one of these. I mean, what's everyone's thoughts on Luke Shaw? Again, Manchester United haven't confirmed that he's extended his contract to 4 years, but the Athletic have kind of confirmed it themselves. So, what do you think? Do you think he deserved, or would you have waited till the end of the season? I mean, I'm happy enough, and I think Luke Shaw deserved it. I really think Luke Shaw deserved his contract, and hopefully he can be. Hopefully he has the rest of his career is an exciting one. As well. But listen, I think he deserved it. To be fair, I actually think Luke Shaw deserved his contract, and hopefully Rashford can extend his as well, and a few other players who are, that are good and that might have to get a contract extension. I mean, I think Fred's in there, isn't he? Fred. Jesus, Fred. Well, the main one I'm focusing on now is Rashford. Extend that man's contract, because it'd be stupid if Manchester United didn't extend Rashford's contract. I mean, will that be as easy as extending Luke Shaw's contract? Maybe not. But listen, it's going to be interesting to see what happens now with Luke Shaw, because his contract got extended, and let's hope Rashford's one is extended as well, because he needs to. Not that he needs to stay. He's too good to let go now. And I doubt it will. I reckon Manchester United will get that sorted as well. I mean, Ten Hag spoke about Marcus Rashford. He says, I've good hope. He trained, but he had to do some treatments. Let me put it up here actually so I can see. He had to do some treatment. He had to do some individual training today. He joined in with the group. We have one more day. I have good hope he will be available. I mean, it's like every time we come up against Newcastle, it's always, Rashford, I don't know, is he really, so yeah, surely I'm confident. I'm even confident that Rashford's going to be playing Sunday, so surely there's nothing to worry about there. Surely we're all good, and hopefully Rashford is available for Sunday's game, but I wouldn't have any doubt in my mind that he won't be available, because it's Rashford, and this is another big game as well. Newcastle are a good team, good side, strong at their place as well. So it's definitely not going to be easy, but hopefully, fingers crossed, Manchester United can beat them. He also spoke about on a new deal for Marcus Rashford. He says, we never do. It's an eternal process. We focus on winning games, of course, also planning for the future. So on the back of that, we're working on that. Before we get stuck in and read comments, please hit that subscribe button, share about all that good stuff as well. It's probably the first ever press conference on the channel, so I did one or two in the past, but we're going to try and do a lot more of this. So let's go for it. Not the most exciting streams, but yeah, let's speak into depth. It's kind of like a little mini preview. He also says It's about agents. It's about football director John Morty. Rashi and I are focusing on performing. So yeah, I obviously spoke about Luke Shaw's contract extension as well. Rahul in the chat saying he could be used as a sub. You never know. You don't. That's the problem. You don't know what Ten Hag has up his sleeve. But I reckon we'll see him starting. He will do that. I reckon we'll see him play on Sunday. But listen, it's Ten Hag. You don't know what this man can do. I mean, if he is out, just say for instance, or he can't play, you have Sancho, Anthony. Again, our options on the wings aren't really great. I mean, Garnacho's out injured. I think I seen there was pictures of him arriving at Carrington, so hopefully that's a good sign. That means that he's going to be available. There won't be this 4-week injury that was mentioned that he was going to have. But Eriksen's back in training as well. Van de Beek, Van de Beek maybe. I'm not sure what's up with Van de Beek, but Eriksen more than likely. I think he'll be back for the game against Everton. I could be wrong, but he's going to be back soon. So we are having players turning, and hopefully Garnacho is one of them. I mean, Van de Beek, I know we don't use him much, but for squad depth in that midfield, he's handy, especially around this time with Casemiro being suspended and Sabitzer supposedly has a bit of a knock, but who knows. Rail says, last thing I wanted to see him play with a knock. Oh yeah, same. I mean, listen, it'd be a bit gutting if he doesn't play on Sunday, but he's back in training, and Ten Hag said he's hopeful, so it's up to Ten Hag and basically the management and obviously the physios to be like, is he fit to start? Or the thing is, this is just mind games. You know what I mean? We had this coming up to the Carabao Cup final. We literally had this coming up to the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle or Rashford. Is he out? You know what I mean? What's the story there? Some are saying he's going to be out for the final. Some are saying, we're not sure. Some are saying, yes, he is fit. Even the press conference Ten Hag had a few days before that, he was unsure about Rashford. People are worried, like, is Rashford going to be out for the final, a big game? And he was there, got himself a goal, and boom, back in it. So, you don't know with Ten Hag, but hopefully he is up doing his usual tricks. But again, let us know in the comments, what do you think of Ten Hag's press conference? And do you think Rashford will be available for Sunday? And what do you think Luke Shaw's contract extension? Did he deserve it? I think he did, but again, it's a channel about opinions, and it's the first press conference reaction we've ever done on the channel. That we'll do more of this. Trust me. Preview tomorrow, and I'm hoping we have a watch long on Sunday. Hopefully, because I'm not sure what the story is and that, but we'll let you know near to the time. We need Van de Beek and Eriksen. Can't rely on Fred. No, we definitely not. I mean, I know McTominay had a great international break with Scotland. I think he got 3 goals, 2 against I think he got 1 against Spain. I think and then he got 2 goals in the first one. I forget who it was, but he had a good international break with Scotland. But I'm not going to look at that and say, playing McTominay, he's doing great form, because you come back, say you do play him on Sunday, and you have same on McTominay rubbish performance. I hope he goes on I hope McTominay gets in good form while Martial or while Casemiro was out on suspension, and obviously until Eriksen returns, and then Van de Beek, I'm pretty sure he'll return maybe later on the season. Eriksen will be back before him, but it is going to be interesting, and yeah, I personally, if it was me, it's gonna be interesting who we play on Sunday, like in that midfield, like Diego, Sabitzer, if he is fit, Fred, Diego, McFred, Diego, McTominay and Sabitzer. I mean, to be fair, if it was me, I wouldn't put McTominay in that team. That'd be just my opinion, but could be that's just me. I think Shaw deserves it, but I don't like giving the contracts right now. I mean, I just think it got to that stage where it was a bit of a guessing game. Like, Luke Shaw is probably like, what's up in my future here? And I do get where you're coming from, Rahil, but I'd rather get it done now. But again, I can see where I'm coming from. Hopefully, he's not like other players where they go on this good form before, wanting the contract, and as soon as they get it, they go back to usual playing shitty football. So hopefully that's not the case. And I doubt it will. I doubt it will. Speaking Ten Hag spoke about on the reported new deal for Luke Shaw. This. I think this is classic Ten Hag. This, like talk about being like, what really? I'll read it out anyway, saying you get where I'm coming from. He says, if he signed, I don't know. I haven't heard. John Morty didn't inform me until now. I have to wait for that. If true, I am pleased. He said we definitely want to keep him because he's a really important player for our team. That's a funny one. It's like Ten Hag's kind of like, really? No way. Did he actually extend his contract? No way. Surely, no way. I don't know what you're on about. You sure? It's like he knew, but he's kind of playing, kind of being a bit like, not being sure, but kind of acting to be stupid. Like, really? No way. Did he actually? First I've heard of it. Don't know what you're on about. Nothing to see here. Move on. That's kind of like what it is. So, surely he definitely knew that Luke Shaw's contract was getting extended. Like, it's the manager. Like, I surely John Morton and Luke Shaw aren't going to go behind his back and extend his contract. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised with John Morton. So you just cannot be surprised with John Morton these days. Hold on a sec. Let me move on and discuss about. He spoke about Rashford as well. Please hit that subscribe button if you're new. Preview tomorrow. Watch along on Sunday, I think. And I want to do a show next week. And I mentioned it today. We're going to talk. Yes, he does have a transfer show, not transfer show, but transfer shopping list or whatever we call it. And you just throw players at me, look them up, and might get a few of the lads on as well. So I'd have to do that because there was something stupid popping up on my screen there. But let's get stuck into the rest of it. Erik ten Hag, and if he wants to keep Rashford in the hair, you just short and sweet. Yeah, I do. And I think that's, I don't think you can add much more onto that, to be honest with you. I don't think you can add much more onto that, to be fair. So, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we keep those two. Rashford definitely. I reckon those contract will surely be sorted soon. But it depends when. Erik ten Hag, on how he's held Marcus Rashford, he said it's not about just a talk. I'm not Harry Potter. I don't know, Ten Hag. You came in now and you did a few things that have kind of shocked us in a good way. You won a trophy. Again, we said at the start of the season, finish top 4. Up the performance and win a trophy. We'll do that. At the time, it seemed a bit more, more hope than belief. But now you're a bit like, okay, hold on a sec, maybe. And then Ten Hag went to another. So what Ten Hag is doing with the squad we have now is it's better than what most expected. Yeah, we've had a few bumps in the road, big bumps in the road. I'm sure you can imagine those big bumps in the road. But then we've managed to just bounce back. And, even in games where we're not playing at our best or nothing's going well, he manages to say a few nice words and then we just go and have a good performance and we go and win the game. The Fulham game definitely wasn't a good match. Just, didn't play well. Let's be fair here. Will we have beat them with or without their red cards? I don't know, but he still manages to do better than expected. But I'm not saying he's getting the best out of a few players. Don't get me wrong, and he knows that. It's like Ten Hag. It's the start of the process. Ten Hag. It's always the process to him. He doesn't say, "Oh yeah." He doesn't give himself compliments. So it's just a bit like, yeah, it's my job. This is what I'm here to do. No one should be surprised. But just as fans, we have a manager who can finally come in and, a proper manager. That's all we asked for, a proper manager, and I think every single one of us wanted Ten Hag to come in when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got the sack, and we got him, and we should be proud to have him as our boss. As well, but we'll move on anyways. We'll move on here, in here anyways. Let me see. Yeah, we'll move on in here anyways. Let's move. Let's talk about more. He says again on Rashford. He says it's like a process. So there are many tools you're putting in your management to let people get to best form, best shape. He says it's about lineup, way of playing. It's about coaching, talks, informal. He says it's also about coaches working with him, and especially it's a lot about himself because he's the one and he has the skills. So when he is in the best, at that time, best mentality then as well. So yeah, Marcus Rashford. I mean, Ten Hag has improved Rashford a lot. I mean, last season a few people were saying send him out on loan, sell him. I backed him. No, not everyone was like, "I will get rid of him." Like, everyone had a bad season last season. Trust me, everyone. I can't think of one player who probably had a good year for last season. Maybe you can throw a few. I mean, De Gea maybe. I don't know, but no one played well last season. But Rashford was probably the concerning one because you go from doing wonders to this, and now he's this season. When every time Rashford gets the ball, he either scores or he's close to scoring, which is always nice to see, and hopefully he can up, continue this and improve on this and add on top of this because he is a good player, and I hope we extend his contract, and I think we will. It's just a matter of when. Which it's going to be an interesting one as well. But he also confirms big news about Anthony Martial. Erik ten Hag confirms Anthony Martial is fit to play on Sunday. He says he's training, so for 2 weeks he's training. So for 2 weeks now, I think he can be in. I mean, he's training for maybe longer than that. So yeah, surely he should come back in. Again, he's probably fit 2 weeks ago, but Ten Hag is just probably afraid to throw him in because I do like Martial. His injuries are so annoying. Like when Martial gets injured, they're just like seriously, like how would you get injured? Like he came on against Nottingham Forest in the Carabao Cup semi-final. Came on, scored a goal, and he got injured. So he's made of glass. Right, I always say Martial's made of glass. He is made of glass, and if he wants to have a future at this club, those injuries are concerning. I mean, he's had a lot of injuries since he's came in. So he has had a few injuries, but I mean, that's one reason why I'd love us to maybe get a young striker. A young striker kind of. A young striker, and then obviously, a cheap striker because, with Martial, it's hard to know Martial. Like, you come back, you could play Sunday, and if he's fit, play him. Do you start him? I don't think he'll start Martial. You'll see him on the bench. If you start him, he starts him. You might start him if Rashford is not available, which he should be. As well. But if he is, like, it's not like it'd be really, really nice to have Martial back. Like, we signed Weghorst to be a backup to Martial. Weghorst can kind of be the player you bring off, bring him on from the bench. I think Weghorst has played every game since he came in, so it'd be nice to have Martial to come in. I think Martial does work a bit better under Ten Hag's style of play. Like, Martial had a great pre-season. Then obviously he was having a great start to the Premier League Premier League season, and then he got those then them injuries start creeping in, and then performances are just all over the place. So you don't know what you're going to get on Martial. Martial to me is hot and cold. Martial to me is just hot and cold. You don't know what you're going to get from him, and you just have to accept. If he gets to the stage where Martial gets an injury, are you used to it? Because he's always injured. Like, but I hope he comes back because I'd like him to start. I like Weghorst, but a bit of pace up there, down the middle would be ideal because Weghorst doesn't have the pace. So sometimes you see Bruno cutting, getting behind, and sometimes play centre forward or Rashford or whoever it is there because the pace isn't good. And then you may see Luke Shaw get put forward a good bit, so you can be a left wing back as well. So even having Weghorst there could improve us. Oh, Weghorst, Martial, sorry. As well. He also spoke about McTominay up front. He said Scott can play many roles. It's clear he has scoring capabilities for Scotland, but also this season for us. He's a really good finisher, but I see him as a midfielder. Yeah, I honestly, I wouldn't go in there playing McTominay up top. With Scotland, he can do what he wants, but with Manchester United, no. Just no. Ten Hag is right. Play him in midfield. Play him on the bench. But don't come around. I don't hate McTominay. Like when we signed Casemiro, McTominay was having good performances. He was having very good performances. And then obviously that City beat us 6-3. Ten Hag dropped McTominay, and then he played. He played Casemiro. Casemiro's 100 times better than McTominay and Fred. So I don't know. I hope we get it this season that the midfield is fit. We have no injuries, so you can pick whoever you want. I really, really want to see Sabitzer Casemiro cameo. I want to see that cameo between Sabi and Case. Casemiro and Sabitzer is the cameo I want to see, and I think it's the cameo we expected to see when we got Sabitzer on loan in the January transfer window. But obviously, Fred's kind of played a lot more than Sabitzer. And then, I said it on the previous show, we brought in Sabitzer to replace Eriksen because he was injured. But now he's replacing Casemiro more than Eriksen. So, hopefully our players at midfield on Sunday is up for it because, Newcastle are probably going to try and beat us down the middle as well. So. I also spoke about Wout Weghorst. He says, I'm happy with Wout. Because when Wout is in the team, he is performing better. He says, so yeah, Wout Weghorst, I'm happy, he's happy with Wout as well. But Wout Weghorst, it's going to be interesting to see what Ten Hag does with him at the end of the season. Does he want to keep him or does he send him back to Burnley? Erik Ten Hag, and if the team need more goal scorers, he says, I think we have players like Bruno, Sancho, Anthony Martial, McTominay, Anthony. We have enough players with the capabilities to score goals, definitely. We do, but I just think, Anthony, every goal he scored has probably been with that left boot. I like his left boot. Bruno, I think after Rashford, it's Bruno who's a top goal scorer. So, Sancho, don't get wrong, they are players that can score. I like the way he just tried to throw McTominay in there, but I don't know why. But we got Weghorst, so I don't know why he's not including Weghorst in. He also spoke about Harry Maguire. Says Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, Bruno Fernandes, Casemiro. They are starters for their nations. He says I want to. And FaZe, they have the most games across the season so far. We played an extra round of the Europa League. Yeah, I don't know what. Just you tried to throw Maguire and McTominay in those last two, like we didn't notice. But yeah, besides Maguire and McTominay, the rest of them are good. He also spoke about Newcastle, which again we're getting into this game now. He's talking about it. He says, considering we know the delay, he says it's something that is what the refereeing doesn't want. They want to have tempo in the game. That is the aim of the Premier League. So they have to be consistent to let the game go. So do enact what the policy is. He says, yeah, I agree about the VAR. That's all we want is consistency. Like, that's all I want. Just go and have a look at it. You know what I mean? Because we don't get consistency of VAR. I don't think we have ever since it's been brought in. So, Erik Ten Hag on this Sunday's game said it's about us, like we did in the two previous games. It's about us. As every game, we want to dictate to control the game, but we played against a good opponent. We're aware of that. He says they've had a great season with their manager, way of play. It's a team that is really hard to beat. We're looking forward to the challenge, and the evidence uh, is we can beat them. Then what did he say? Marcus Rashford. He also spoke about Rashford's trip to New York. He says, I think it's positive that he was in a break. But yeah, I mean, the Newcastle game, like, it's not going to be an easy game by any stretch of the imagination. And I think a draw, I think there's a draw written all over this game. I can't see Manchester United winning, but I can't see. Thing is, like, Newcastle don't score much, but we don't, like, yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's interesting. It's interesting. Like, Newcastle don't score a lot of goals. Like, one or two goals maybe. I mean, they got a late winner against Nottingham Forest there. So again, and obviously I think Miguel Almiron is out for them, but they still have good players to maybe back them up, but probably not as good as Almiron. But yeah, I think a draw's written all over this game, but I'm not going to slip up my prediction yet because the preview. Save it for the preview, but I think a draw is probably the good result. Not probably not the best results especially for top four, but I think it's the result that we're probably going to get, but could be wrong. Rahul says Newcastle is a good team. I don't know if we can win without Casemiro. Fingers crossed. Hopefully. I mean, Casemiro being out is definitely a big miss. I won't lie to you. Again, more about Rashford. He says, I think Rashford and Bruno, they are playing the most games of the whole squad, and I think with Man United playing the most games across Europe, and especially the internationals, our internationals are not mostly on the bench, mostly they are playing. He says our players are playing the most games in this crazy season. He says they need a breather to collect energy. For me, it's positive. Rashford took that time to turn off from football. So was he injured? Was he not injured? What's the story here? Was Rashford just injured? He also spoke with Rashford. He says, I've seen him back this week and he has shown a lot of energy, a lot of motivation. It was a good spirit and a lot of focus. Hold on a sec. Eddie Howe was Nick Pope felt that yeah, I mean, I don't know about if Newcastle have any injuries. So Rahul said we won't outplay Newcastle, I don't think, just really on mistakes by them or individual brilliance by us. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. It really is. I mean, that midfield, I think many people are kind of thinking, who do we play in that midfield? I'm worried about Bruno next season. He could be born there. Well, that's why I think we should bring in an attacking midfielder that can play in Bruno's position. I know you have Sabitzer there, but with what's going on at the moment with the midfield crisis, you could almost say you're not going to play Sabitzer or Cam. So I'd like us to bring in someone that can play in the same position as Bruno, just to give him a breather. But Bruno is a good player. I can see why Ten Hag wants him, but Bruno didn't even get a rest in international break. I think he played the full 90 minutes, I think, for both games. So, and even if he didn't, he's still not getting rest, so it doesn't matter, which is not good. But I wouldn't be too worried, but I definitely can see where I'm coming from, Rahul. I definitely can. Like, don't think that I don't, because I definitely think, I know where you're coming from, but hopefully, I mean, I'd like him to get a rest. I really would have liked Bruno to maybe pick, Bruno to be, injured and maybe get a red card in one of his games in the international break. Fred, Bruno, and Lisandro Martinez. That's the thing is, a lot of people, I mean, I doubt we'll see that, to be fair. I mean, I doubt we will. I mean, don't get wrong, I said it before on a live stream. I said it when we played Arsenal when Casemiro was suspended, and someone was like, what are you on about? playing Lissandro DM. But Lissandro Martinez has played in midfield under Ten Hag at Ajax. Again, Premier League is 10 times different to the Dutch league. But the Eredivisie, sorry, same thing. But the midfield, I mean, if Sabitser's fit, I mean, it's going to be interesting to predict the midfield. Like, just maybe 2-3 up midfields that you could go with. You could go Fred, Bruno, McTominay. You could go Sabitzer, McTominay, Bruno. Yeah, Sabitzer, McTominay, Bruno. You could go, not sure what I said it, but you could go Sabitzer, Fred, and Bruno. Or else you can, if you want to go mental and throw controversial in there, you can throw Lindelof in there, or you can throw Lissandro Martinez in there. But I think the midfield, I think it's obvious that you're going to. I think it's. I mean, he didn't speak about Sabitzer, so obviously he's fit. Obviously, there's nothing to worry about on that one. So I think the midfield we're going to see is Sabitzer, Fred, and Bruno. I think that's the midfield we're going to see. Not the most strongest midfield. If you want to go for height in there, just say, because Newcastle have tall. If they are a tall team some parts. So again, if you want to talk about who's going to win the midfield battle, Newcastle have a decent midfield as well. To be fair to them, Bruno Guimaraes is especially a good player for them. But if you want to go for height in there, then you'll probably play McTominay. But I would go Fred, Sabitzer, Bruno. That'd be my one. Because I know McTominay had a great international break, and I just have I don't know what, but still, even though I said the midfield I'd go with is Fred, Bruno, and Sabitzer, I just have that suspicious feeling that we're just going to see him throw McTominay in there. I don't know why. I just don't know why. Rahil says Leopards don't change their spots. McFred is not an option if Ten Hag plays them. I can't back that. I just have a suspicious feeling we're going to see McTominay play. But I would go with Fred, Sabitzer, and Bruno Fernandes. That'd be my one. I mean, Ten Hag could go absolutely mental. You could go crazy, not mental, but you could change. You could go totally different to what you expect. You could go Bruno and Sabitzer are maybe in the midfield, or Bruno, Fred. Then you can maybe see him have Rashford, Sancho, Anthony, and Weghorst, or Martial. And then you could maybe see Bruno drop deep into the DM position alongside whether it's a Fred or McTominay or Sabitzer. I don't think he will. I know it sounds stupid, but just don't be surprised at what Ten Hag picks. Just don't be surprised at what Ten Hag picks. So, we could go Bruno deep. You could see Rashford up top, Sancho calm, Anthony on the right way. I wouldn't play Sancho when calm, to be fair. I don't think he works well there, but then you could have Anthony on the right and Weghorst and Martial up top. And then, as I said, you could have Bruno in the DM position alongside a Fred or a Sabitzer. I don't think you'd play Bruno on McTominay. I don't think that would work. We don't have another DM apart from Casemiro, so we're always going to struggle. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's why we just wanted another midfielder, a DM, in the summer. Like the summer just gone. We just wanted someone else. That's all I wanted was someone else, but to back him up. But I mean, again, you could also see Fred playing in the calm position, push him forward a bit more, and then have Bruno and Sabitzer. It's again, I can sit here and say you could go with this and that all day, but it's up to the manager. But that's just the options that Ten Hag has. They're not great options, but unfortunately, that's what it is. I would like to see Bruno at number 8, not number 6 or 10. Bruno coming again from midfield. I would rather see Fred as cam. Yeah, so you're kind of going with Bruno and maybe Sabitzer and then Fred in the cam position. It's not a bad midfield, to be fair. It has a bit of pace in it if you go with that. And I'd rather see that, but will you try McTominay in there? It's gonna be interesting. I think that's in previews, Manchester United previews that you'll see over the next week, and for this upcoming game against Newcastle. There's going to be a lot of people going, do we go with this, do we go with that? And I want to mention in the preview because it's going to be hard, and that's probably the most interesting thing that is going to be interesting to see in the lineup is who he goes with. Like Bruno, Fred, Cam, Bruno, and maybe Sabitzer. It's going to be interesting. It is. But Ten Hag's not afraid to test it out. And hopefully, whatever team that he puts out, whatever midfield he puts out, we can get the 3 points. Because it'd be a great return, from international football. But as I said, a draw maybe. But again, Martial could return. Fingers crossed. I hope he returns. Can he stay fit? Fortunately, it's a question no one can answer. But listen, that's been the Ten Hag press conference reaction for the game against Newcastle on Sunday. Thanks everybody for watching. Preview tomorrow. And maybe watch along on Sunday. But until then, follow all our socials. Links in the description. You can see from the handles. If you want to talk about Manchester United or literally anything, don't be afraid to DM us or comment on one of our posts. We always reply. And thanks everybody for watching, and hit that subscribe button, like, share it about, and we'll speak to you all in a bit. Have a good one. One more comment. If you can change Fred and make him play at central midfield, it's evident that Fred can't run the midfield. Yeah, he can't run the midfield without Casemiro on there anyways. Thanks everybody for watching. Speak to you all in a bit. Have a good one, and have a good weekend as well. Peace.